Hudson County View live on Uncut, and I'm your host, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the women's pet and the men's regret, where what you see is what you get and what you don't is better yet, John Arhitis, and we got a special Election Day show here talking about the latest and greatest, but, obviously our focus today will be about the polls. Now, as I would imagine you have to know if you're watching this program, we have 10 county seats up for grabs. Of course, at the top of the ticket this year, we have Hudson County executive race. We have the heavily favored Craig Guy, who is, of course, the chief of staff to the outgoing county executive Tom DeGees, and he's challenged by progressive activist Elena Little, who came within just a few points of becoming a freeholder back in 2020. And so we're going to, detail all those other county races. State legislative races are also on the ballot this year, and it's not quite as exciting, to be perfectly frank with you. We have 9 seats, 3 state senate seats, and 6 state assembly seats up for grabs, but only 2 of those races are contested out of the 9. So, we're going to tell you what the contested race looks like and who else is on the ballot in your district. And we're also going to remind you now that your Hudson County committee seats, if you're of the Democratic Party anyway, are also on the ballot today. So with that, we're going to chat a little bit about, of course, what's happening at Election Day, and we're going to do that with someone from the Mile Square City, and that's Paul Presinzano, who is, of course, running for the 1st Ward Council seat. So all that and probably a little bit more right after this word from our sponsors.
Stevens Jersey City Ford Certified Parts and Service, located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, today I'm joined with Hoboken 1st Ward Council candidate Paul Presinzano. Paul, thanks for coming back in, especially on Election Day.
Thanks for having me.
So, let's talk a little bit about the ballot today. So obviously, as I just said a couple moments ago, at the top of the ticket, we got a real David Goliath fight. You got Craig Guy. Take it out of Elena Little. I mean, Craig has raised over $1 million, and when you put in the PACs, it's probably going to be closer to 1.5. And this total spending, again, including outside expenditures, probably looking at $1 million. And you're going against someone who obviously doesn't have any ties to the machine, and somebody that only raised maybe like $20,000, $25,000. So how do you see this one playing out, or what do you think of the dynamic of this race?
It's quite impressive, the numbers. But I'm happy to see Elena running. It's always good to have more people in a race. Unopposed races are always something I'm not really happy with. I think in this country it's great that you have that opportunity. I do think it's going to be a lopsided one way. Craig Guy comes with a lot of experience, and I think at times of inflation and things like this, you need somebody with a lot of experience in that role. She does have her message, and it's gotten across, big social media presence, a little bit more. But I've seen Craig and the team kind of out more in the streets, and definitely today in Hoboken, column B is all over the place. It's plastered on every single place you can look from that standpoint.
All right. So, When you think about, assuming that Craig wins, when you're thinking about the future of the Hudson County government, like, would you say this was like just another term for Tom DeGee's? You think we're going to start to move in other directions, or how do you see that working?
I believe that going forward, Hudson County's been Hudson County for a while. I think people are starting to open their eyes a little bit, and I even think the machine, as we can call it, as many will call it, is kind of opening their eyes as well. I think you do have to look at some of the attempts to run against them, and it's important. You just have to listen, right? You have to bring everybody into the fold. You can't just take one side of things. So I do believe down the road that there will be, or there should be, a little bit more of an inclusion of different people and different ideas, and not to say they don't, but I think going forward, especially with social media and how quick news flies around, I think that is something that the current, or Craig will, and I think the rest of the commissioners will start to listen to other groups inside of Hudson County.
All right, so good segue into this commissioner race. A lot of people talking about the rematch, Ron Batista versus Anthony Romano. He's, of course, the chair of the Board of Commissioners right now. It was not terribly close in 2020, a presidential year, but it was about 62-38 then. A lot of people are expecting a tighter race this time around. How do you see it?
I have to agree with them. I do feel it'll probably fall in the favor of Commissioner Romano. Ron has been working hard. I do have to give it to Commissioner Romano that I see him everywhere. I don't know how he does it in his schedule, but I have to say, Ron, everything I've gone to, I've seen him just as present as anybody else. I believe there's, Commissioner Romano has the help of the committee, which definitely gives him a little bit of an edge. Ron has, been doing his, and the money that they've raised, as we said, from the Progressive Democrats hasn't been a lot. I'm actually quite surprised that there hasn't been more money or more help from the Progressive Democrats in this election. That was surprising to me. We knew the Democratic there would be, but I'm actually quite surprised that there was not from either a state or a national level putting more money into this race.
Okay, reasonable. And so, assuming that Romano does pull it out, he's a First Ward resident, as you obviously know.
Yes, he is.
Do you think that's someone that you could work with at all, heading into your race in November, or what kind of relationship do you guys have?
We have a friendly relationship. He is on a position appointed by the mayor, but I feel he'll always listen. He always takes a phone call. I think that's important. So while we might agree or disagree on things, he does take a phone call, and I think that that's important. He's available. Now, things don't always turn out the way you want, but I believe he's realizing that this race might be a little tighter than he would like it to be, and I think that's waking up a lot of people as I refer back to being more inclusive down the road. Right.
Now, there's this, I hate to even use the term, but conspiracy theory, I think is really the only way to describe it, that, there's some fear among the mainstay Democrats, if you will, that Mayor Bala and some of the people close to him are going to tell people at the polls to vote for Batista. Do you think that has any credence or basis in reality at all?
Just as you hear things, I've heard the same things. There's a lot of rumors, or a lot of stuff through the grapevine. 90% of it you have to throw out. I have heard this one pretty deep, and I know that are pretty substantial, but I think some of the support that Ron has gotten from Jersey City, from the council people over there, is important to watch. At the same token, I'd be really surprised at the whisper behind the scenes, we support Commissioner Romano, and then in turn, no, we really want Batista. It's kind of, I wouldn't want that. I think you got to make a clear-cut choice on that. You can't be doing one thing and, talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. It sounds quite implausible, but as you know, expect the unexpected in Hoboken. Yes. So, it's why I brought it up. But yeah, I don't really think that that's credible. It just, for the record, for anyone who maybe hasn't been following closely, like Mayor Bala did endorse Commissioner Romano, and of course the column B ticket. So with that, we're just going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut, John Arhitis, and I'm still here with Hoboken First Ward Council candidate Paul Presinzano. So anyway, let's move on to some local stuff while I have you. So let's talk about the Court Street redesign. Obviously, last week we saw the city put out two possible options for this endeavor. What did you think, and which one do you prefer?
It's kind of a toss-up. I think one of the big issues on Court Street is there's a lot of jut-outs, if you want to call it, from people with stairs or parking or things of that nature. So it's going to be a little tough to run a straight run with the sidewalk. So I'm discussing this with my wife just because we want to have whether we want the sidewalk, how they're going to do it. That's the one thing. I want to wait for this next meeting on June 14th. But either one is kind of similar to the other. It's just literally extra concrete. And one has more sets, one has less sets. So I'm kind of neutral. I'm happy with both of them. It kind of, if you looked at the survey results, I had Oprah'd some of them and fell in line. A lot of people didn't want the trash on the corners, street lighting, because there are people that live on that street, and then no flower boxes, things like that. So really preserving the historical aspect of that. I mean, 1804, that street was built. And I can tell you certain parts of it are still very nice and flat, but others need a lot of work. So I'm happy the city's taken initiative forward, and Councilman DeFusco has been begging to deliver this to us, and I'm happy that it finally is coming to fruition.
Okay, makes sense. So do you have any timeline on when we might get shovels in the ground there? We might start to see things move?
They had a pretty aggressive timeline. After the second meeting, it then goes to the process of actually going through the city steps. There's a little bit of the state involved, I believe, here because of the historical aspect of it. When I looked at their timeline, and they're pretty much on it, that's on the website, it looked like October, November. I don't know about shovels because we do know it gets held up, and that's busy time as well for the next election.
Yeah.
But I would think, I don't know, but my days of construction and putting down pavers, we didn't do it in the winter that often. So it's either they break ground in October, November, get it done, maybe a street or two, and then it probably fit, if it's a warm winter, finish it up by the spring.
Got it. Okay. And another thing that you brought up recently on Twitter was that there was this, the water main break, and then, we heard this talk about, someone's going to pay for this and it's not going to be me. And to your point, nothing seems to have happened since then. So why did you find it important to bring that back to light?
I believe the fluffiness that the town tends to focus on headlines always tends to drive the narrative. There's no fluffy headline here. There is something, I believe, happening behind the scenes, but the way it was told to us, it was going to happen quickly. At that point, when the water main break did happen, that's not the time you start critiquing. You actually work together with everybody and you try to get things solved. Then you can point fingers afterwards. At the end of the day, it doesn't seem like this is going to be an easy thing. I believe they identified a contractor that did it, but ultimately I think the city should be compensated some because running that emergency situation with the water buffaloes and everything else was not cheap. And I think there has to be more done at the city level for an emergency like this. They have to be able to plan to help our seniors especially, and are more vulnerable in the community. And it's not just gathering lists, it's actually having a plan to get people out to these people to help them.
Okay, point taken. Now, since we last sat down here, you know at least one opponent that you'll have in this nonpartisan race, and that's the guy who is the Red Leveling Board Chair, Rafi Cordova. So how do you think this matchup plays in your favor or not?
Rafi's a nice guy. I've met him before Mr. DeFusco dropped out of the race. A lot of him and his team had quietly expressed interest in supporting me, so it's kind of a bittersweet thing. I believe that I've been involved since the last election to really know the true issues of the town, and that I've been dedicated to trying to coming up with some solutions, be it through my organization or just me and the public in general, and keeping in touch and speaking up when things need to be addressed. The first ward is very unique. We're in a commercial district. I've been all over the rats, all over the garbage, all over things like that. Stuff that I grew up with when I grew out in West New Jersey. We dealt with possums, raccoons, skunks. So I know a little bit about vermin, and we have a big problem there. Also, we're going to go into a massive part of redevelopment in the first ward, and I don't think anybody really understands that. And that's going to have a massive impact on our quality of life. And those issues for me are number one, front and center. So I believe that the fact I've been involved, the motivation and the desire I have, and the dedication I think I've demonstrated over the past couple years, since the last election, puts me in a very good spot for a win in November.
Okay, cool. Now, one more before I let you jump, but we're talking about this Hoboken football soccer club and the whole traveling soccer, I called it a debacle. This was an interesting situation, to say the least, with the former director of Health and Human Services, and now it looks like we have this new group. I mean, what did you think about this whole way this played out?
I'm not necessarily happy the way it played out. There's definitely politics here. I'm happy that the parents united together to get something done. I do, in speaking with many parents that have children in the program, they're a little bit suspect here. They're kind of finger pointing in both sides. I was a little concerned that this was a nonprofit organization. This is separate from the town, so I didn't understand why the mayor said he was going to RFP this. That made no sense to me because it was separate. Yes, they rent the field from the city, but why would the mayor get his hands involved in this when it's a private or a nonprofit enterprise that's doing this? That was the one thing I didn't understand. But in times like this, sometimes
they ended up reneging on that.
I'm sorry. Yes, but again, I didn't understand in the email that I saw that came out. I was a little bit surprised. That said, sometimes leadership does need to get into some issues that happen in town because it does affect a lot of people, and sometimes there could be guidance there. But I'm happy to see that the parents stepped up, and they're really taking on a big workload, and that comes from somebody who's been involved in sports his whole life, from coaching to running a team and scheduling stuff. It's a lot of work they're undertaking, but it sounds like it's in very good hands.
Excellent. Paul, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
This thing rips! Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. right, now we're getting hairy. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. I super dig it. It's gonna be a good day.
Growing up can be tough on kids. So much is going on in the world that can cause depression or anxiety. Unusual behavior for more than 6 months could mean they need help. Don't wait. For real-time mental health support and counseling, call New Jersey's Children's System of Care. CSOC offers free mental health supports, substance use treatment, and services for intellectual or developmental disabilities for all kids up to age 21. Call now, 1-877-652-7624.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, Jared Arhaitis. So let's talk about these county races. I mean, we just obviously spoke at length about what's going on with the county executive race, so we're not going to spend any more time on that. I will just add that Craig Guy is running on column B and Elena Little is running on column A. So with that, let's talk about the commissioner races. So in the first ward, which is mostly Bayeux, and I think just has a touch of Jersey City now, you got County Commissioner Kenny Kopaz taking on TJ Sanger. And then in the second ward, you have Adrian Gainda taking on Hudson County Commissioner Bill O'Day. And actually, I should just say the Progressive Democrats are running on line A, and the Hudson County Democratic Organization candidates, which is all the incumbents, are running on column B. So with that in mind, what I think a lot of people are expecting to be the feature matchup here, so to speak, is you have Commissioner Uriah Aponte-Lipsky taking on Mamta Singh, and that's the 4th district. Then in the 5th district, as you know, we talked about a little bit with Paul Presinzano, you have Hudson County Commissioner Chair Anthony Romano against Ron Batista. Again, that's a rematch from 2020. And actually, this is the 3rd time they've seen each other on the ballot. And that 6-person mayor race in 2017, they were both a part of that. Obviously, neither was successful in winning, but Romano did beat Batista by a significant margin in that one as well. So then in the 6th ward, that's Fanny Cedeno. There's no challenge. Also, I guess I should mention in the 3rd district, Jerry Walker, County Commissioner Jerry Walker, is also not challenged. So with that, in the 7th, we also see an uncontested race. That's Caridad Rodriguez, County Commissioner Rodriguez, and she represents West New York, Weehawken, and Guttenberg. And then in the 8th district, we have our newest county commissioner, that's Bob Basilis, taking on Stephanie Martinez. And then finally, the 9th district, and actually I think this is going to be the closest race of the day, that's going to be challenger Alex Valdez looking to unseat County Commissioner Al Cifelli. So that's where we're at. Again, the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County are on column A. That's 7 of the 10 seats being contested, and the Hudson County Democratic Organization is on column B. The polls are open until 8 p.m. tonight. Obviously, they're open as we speak. And this is, another thing, the poll finder, a lot of people have posted this. I had it in my newsletter yesterday, and I know others have put it in their emails, in their Instagram, on their Twitter, whatever. But the New Jersey Department of State, they have a polling location finder. It's very easy. You just type in your address and you hit enter, and that's really it. So, hopefully everybody already knows, but in case you needed an extra hand, you are able to have one. Now, talking about the state legislative races, there just isn't a whole heck of a lot going on in terms of competition here, but nonetheless, in the 31st Legislative District, we know that State Senator Sandra Cunningham is going to be retiring in December at the end of her term. She certainly had a very fruitful and long career. Assemblywoman Angela McKnight is going to look to replace her. She's running with the support of the HCDO. And she faces a challenge from Michael Griffin. Michael Griffin's a community activist out of Jersey City's Ward F, and he appeared on this program not too long ago. He's a top ally of Ward F Councilman Frank Educational Gilmore, and he was actually the campaign manager for that successful unofficial off-the-line challenge, because obviously that's nonpartisan race, but that was November 2021, unseating Jermaine Robinson, who was supported by Mayor Stephen Fulop and ran on that ticket. So that's probably how most of you would know him at this point, but he's been around Ward F for quite a long time. He also, coincidentally, ran against Jermaine Robinson in a crowded Ward F race in 2017. Now, also in that district, we have Barbara Stamato, who's the chair of the Jersey City Democratic Organization, running for office for the first time, and she's seeking an assembly seat. And she's also going to be joined there by William Sampson. Of course, he's the assemblyman out of Bayonne. And now they have an individual challenge, which is kind of unusual, but that's the way this race shook out. And that's Chanel Smith. She's a local teacher, and her and Griffin are technically running together, despite the fact that it's not a full three-person slate. So that's the 31st Legislative District. Now, in the 32nd Legislative District, now this is a new district. Previously, of course, we knew State Senator Nick Sacco is currently the 32nd Legislative District, but now that's completely shifted. That's not going to be a North Hudson district anymore. It's going to be Hoboken, about half of Jersey City, and that's it. So, and it's going to be wards C, D, and E in Jersey City. So with that, we got Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee running for Senate. We have John Allen running for Assembly, and Jessica Ramirez also running for Assembly, and those races are uncontested. Now, you also have some Republicans on the ballot that are in uncontested races as well. So, you know, there will be a contested race, I should say, in November. And then finally, in the 33rd Legislative District, you have State Senator Brian Stack, also the Union City Mayor, running unopposed, and he has two new running mates. He has Julio Marenco, who until recently was the Revenue and Finance Commissioner in North Bergen, and former West New York Mayor Gabriel Rodriguez, who did one term. So that's where we're at, folks. You know, any questions, like I said, check out that poll finder on the state website. But at this point, I think everybody knows where they're going. I know a lot of you have already hit the polls, but you know, if you waited till after work or something like that, those are the candidates that are up on the ballot today. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John Arhitis. So just a little color on the race. I mean, obviously we've talked about, you know, who's endorsed who and who's raised this much money and stuff. So just a little bit more on that before we let you guys, you know, hit the polls and make those important decisions. So first of all, let's talk Jersey City Ward E Councilman James Solomon. Of course, you know, probably the top progressive elected, depending on what your opinion is of Mayor Stephen Fulop. And of course, he's also a candidate for governor. But now, as far as Solomon goes, he endorsed Elena Little for Hudson County Executive, Bob DeSig and Ron Batista, respectively, for county commissioners. And also in a subsequent tweet, he came out and endorsed Alex Valdez. It's a West Hudson seat, as many of you know, but it also includes a little piece of Journal Square and I believe also a little piece of Secaucus, too. Now, what he said in this email blast that he put out Friday is Hudson County and Jersey City are not for sale. We deserve to have people rooted in our communities representing us in government. And Elena, Mabta, and Rod have consistently been on the front lines of the fight, working tirelessly to address our overstressed infrastructure and affordable housing crisis while standing up to developer interest. Simply put, we need them in Hudson County government because we need unbought leadership in our government. They'll lower county property taxes by eliminating waste in government. So, we'll see how those candidates fare. Obviously, again, Craig Guy heavily favored in the executive race, but the other two commissioner races that we're speaking of in the 4th and 5th districts here, supposed to be competitive, so we'll see what ends up shaking out. Now, talking a little bit about Craig Guy today, now, I think a really fascinating fact I got to tell you is that when we're looking at just his individual fundraising and spending, we see that he's raised $1,007,659.13 this cycle, which is just astronomical. I mean, there's people that run for Congress that don't raise that kind of money. And he spent $761,488.22, according to his May 26th ELEC report. Now, on top of that, there's been some super PAC spending. You guys know the Coalition for Progress, PAC linked to Mayor Fulop. They paid for a commercial. Now there's another PAC that came in just last week called the Turnout Project. And they spent $136,268.13 on canvassers and on some direct mail. So like I mentioned when I was speaking with Paul, this is going to be one of the most expensive county exec races ever. I mean, when it's said and done, I think we're going to be talking about 1.5 million raised and about $1 million spent. I mean, that's just crazy. But that's the fact. That's where they are. Like they say, numbers don't lie. And then coming into today, early voting, we had 4,247 early votes, and 3,194, which is just under 52%, came out of Union City. No secret that Brian Stack and his Union City operation is just a GoTV machine. So that shouldn't really surprise anyone. But I guess what was a little bit unusual is that Jersey City, which is obviously quite a bit larger, than Union City only had 1,123 ballots cast overall, and they have quite a few competitive races as we've discussed today. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it. Have a very happy and healthy election day, and best of luck to everybody who's put their name on the ballot.
Thanks for watching Hudson Media Group. Follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.